Hey everyone, I just want to say one quick thing before we begin is that I want to make a video with you guys, the viewers, sometime soon, and I need people to join the Discord in order for that to happen. So if you do enjoy, please like, subscribe, and join the Discord. It'll be in the description. Alright, let's get started. Alright, well here's Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Let's get right into it. I did have to start a new one because I did play for like 10 minutes on my last save file, but that's only because I wanted to get used to the controls a little bit. So, I'm represented with her tax bill, which is an egregious amount of money that we owe to the government, which is fake, I believe. I don't think anyone can ever owe that much money in a turnip game. And as we begin, Mayor Onion just going on and on about how I committed tax evasion and how it's a real thing and I owe a lot of money, and now I'm pretty much an indentured servant to Mayor Onion and I'm his assistant. So my first thing I needed to do was go over to the barn and get a bag of fertilizer, which is what I was gonna do, but then I went and got a watering can and I went around and I spoke to all the people nearby, and I just wanted to get used to like the game itself. I said I played it for about 10 minutes, but that was about all we did. Then I met this blueberry that wanted me to deliver a love letter essentially to a local strawberry. And well, I did. It was my first side quest of the whole thing, and I ended up getting a flower to go give to the strawberry. When I gave it to the strawberry thought I was giving it to him, but personally, I don't like strawberries too much. So I cleared that up, made sure it was for the blueberry, and then the strawberry wanted me to give a letter, and I tried keeping it to actually give it to the blueberry, but I had to rip it instead. I also spoke to this blueberry, who was just overly ecstatic that they were a blueberry and I was a turnip. And then I tried heading over to the barn, as it was my first mission as assistant, but I had to end up going somewhere else to get a sword to cut through the weeds because the mayor sucks at his job. I made sure to evade these snails, as I was going to die if they hit me, so I made sure to go around them pretty smoothly. I checked in with this other blueberry, because this town is just full of blueberries, and apparently he had a squatter who's been paying rent, so technically a tenant, but it was a snail. So, not much the blueberry could do. I then kept going deeper and I found this carrot, who turns out was just the worst babysitter I think I've ever met, because they lost the baby. And instead, they have a stool on their head, which I don't even know how you lose a baby like that, because like they're pretty loud. And then anyways, I kept moving on. I found this wanted poster, which apparently I'm only worth $1 to the government. Like, that is insane. I owe them $143,000, but I'm only worth $1 to them. After going around a few more snails, I met up with the field researcher, Annie, and they were telling me that there's a sword up ahead. It's called a Planticus Swordicus, which I wonder what that is, okay? Like, way to be obvious. As I headed through, I saw the Planticus Swordicus, and, well, I watered it, and I got the sword. It was pretty great. It was my first weapon in the game. After I had got the sword, I obviously had to test it out because, what's a sword gonna do if it's not useful? And well, I wiped out the snail population in the nearby area because I really don't like snails. And I went the extra mile and I killed the blueberry's snail. Yeah, I think his name was Jerry or something. I don't know. It was pretty sad because, well, he did have his rent money that he was gonna pay. But we can move on from that. The blueberry, he was pretty distraught because I killed his, tenant, I guess. But as soon as I told him that the rent money was there, he did not care. It really just goes to show what people think when it comes to money. That money is above all else. And I ripped up the check because I just rip up every government paper I see. After that, I went on and continued to kill more snails because I just hate snails a lot. I also met this carrot that was a hair salon person, and they really insulted me, and I really don't like them. His name's Edgar, and he's just a bougie carrot who thinks he's better than everyone. So, we can let him be. I just wanted to make sure I was able to talk to everyone, so I talked to this beat that was over here, and he was just telling me not to go to a side alley, and I took his word for it. And yeah, I moved my way to a trash can because I'm a raccoon, and I found another government paper, so I had to rip it up. Like, there's nothing else I could have done. I finally made it to the area where the barn was, so I had to take a look around, I found this trophy in the corner, which, even though I'm done making this video, I still don't know what that trophy was for. And then I spoke to this orange that was like Dory and has no, working memory at all. Every time you talk to it, it forgets you. So, moved on. And I headed into the barn where I met the other assistant, I guess, of Mayor Onion, who isn't even called anything but Slay Queen 32. And I wanted to get into the barn as it was my goal, but I had to subscribe to her Twitch essentially because, Twitch streamers are just very lucrative. They just want money, very greedy. So it took me a minute, but while I was doing that, I found my very first hat, which is the DLC hat, which, I thought it was pretty cool because I like hats. So I just moved on, and I kept trying to find where these tier 3 subs were, and I eventually found them at this bell pepper. He was selling just a bunch of stuff, but because I mentioned Slay Queen 32, who I guess is like his god, he gave me a tier 3 sub, which I'm pretty sure he's just a simp because he wanted her to eat it on stream. This is giving me very weird vibes, but it's whatever. What can you do? We got the tier 3 subs, we gave it to the beat, who was the other assistant, and we went on in. But before we did that, she tried giving us some fan mail, or mail I guess, and well, I ain't no simp, so I ripped it up right in front of her face. She told me to go deal with some noisy pigs, so I had to, and I was trying to figure out controls really, because there's a lot going on. I went in this room and I cleared out all the enemies so I could move on, but this place is like a maze. It's kind of ridiculous. But I got to heal up, so that was good because they did damage me a little bit. And then I found these boots, which were pretty neat because that said I could kick bombs essentially. After I got the boots, I made it into Mayor Onion's office where I found a book on how to do your taxes. And well, as I am committing tax evasion right now, I ripped up that book and threw it away. After that, I tried blowing this up, but I missed a little bit because, I'm still getting used to the controls, I guess. And this is where I realized I kept going in circles, so I had to blow up another door, but I continued to mess up. Found this key, which is going to come in handy soon. And I had absolutely no clue where I was going, because as you can see, I've already been in this room before. But, had to kill the snails, because I hate snails. And I was not lying when I said this place was like a maze. I just kept going room to room to room to room. I'm just going in lines at this point, not even circles. Right there was actually the door where I needed to use the key, but I wasn't smart enough to put that together. So I just kept going around. This is actually kind of sad. here I finally put it together that was the door. After a few more bombs and a few more mess-ups of trying to blow up stuff, I got to where I needed. And this was my first real enemy of the barn, and it was pretty easy. I probably didn't need to kill the chickens here, I'm gonna be honest. They seemed to be doing nothing, but I just did, for the love of the game. I keep messing up these bombs because I forget the first step, which is to actually make a bomb. But, you know, it's a learning curve, and I really like how this game has different types of puzzles to where you need to figure this stuff out. And I ran into more snails, so gotta wipe them clean. I found this beet that was apparently just stuck in here for days, which gave me a little hint that the boss was coming up, and well, I was right. This was the first boss, and honestly, as it was a first boss, this was probably the easiest boss of the whole game. The bombs made it really simple once I got the hang of it. It was really easy to keep the boss going in lines like this and just constantly blowing it up. Because just like that, that boss is dead. First boss fight completed. Light work, no reaction. Alright, and it was kind of creepy because these bacons just ran everywhere. I didn't know if it was like its children or just its body, you know. But I did find my very first heart. This is just going to allow me to have more health and be better when it comes to fighting future bosses. And then I found the fertilizer that I needed to show the mayor as proof as I did my job here. It's kind of weird that I'm kind of just getting sent to gather things. I don't know really what I'm gathering stuff for. I then picked up my second side quest technically and was assisting in a drug deal. Not my greatest moment, I will say, but you know, what's the harm? You know, I'm just a Turnip who apparently thinks I'm dumb. I found the drug dealer in the alley, and the drug of choice was wood. It wasn't even interesting, it was just wood. I made my way back into the barn, and I delivered the wood. I did get lost, I won't lie. Like I said, it's like a maze. I did find him though, and I gave him his wood as he requested, and in turn, I got a hard hat. It was pretty nice. I got my second or third hat of the game. Hopefully I'm going to be able to collect all of them by the end of this gameplay. As I did finish my job here, I made my way back to the mayor's office, or technically my greenhouse that he's holding hostage as his office. He was very pleased that I took out the animals that were in the barn and that he appreciated the fertilizer. I guess he's gonna use it for his plants. But yeah. Moved on to my second quest. You know, I got to explore the map a little bit. It's a pretty cool map, I'm not gonna lie. This is a really cool game. I saw a phone that I'm gonna go grab later. I also got this message, but I'm not gonna worry about that in this episode. More snails. Just had to kill the snails. Then there was this fish, which was weird because at this point I hadn't seen any actual animals, only vegetables. And then I found this weird bee. I guess this is just the average anime enjoyer, not gonna lie. But I tried getting into the house as it was my next mission, and the stairs were broken. And it said they needed a stool, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. I had to walk my way all the way back up, killing snails on the way. all the way back up to that horrible babysitter with the stool on its head, killing more snails. Even more snails. Just get them all gone. I spoke to the carrot, and it wasn't giving me it. But I assumed that it needed the baby back to give me the stool, so I had to go looking. And I had to go all the way back down. You know, for such a small map, there was a lot of walking. And I was talking to the carrots and stuff, and they knew about it, but they didn't know. And then this piece of crap threw it in the trash can. Although that carrot baby looked stupid, I don't think it deserved being in there. And then I found another receipt, which I ended up just ripping up. And I had to go all the way back and give that very bad babysitter the baby back in return for the stool. I was gonna give these snails a chance, but then one of them hit me, so I killed them all. And I didn't stop. But I got the stool back in return for the baby. And I killed the snails again. Yeah. You know, this is borderline like a little creepy that I just keep killing these snails, but they deserved it, really. See, just gonna wipe them clean. Like, snails, what's the benefit? I got into the house, and it was pretty good.
FBI, open
It was very much like FBI indeed, because I just started wiping them clean. I opened the door and it was just like, but I got a face mask, you know, which might give a little hint to where all the humans went, because this is clearly a human's house. This is no vegetables house. I found this diary. It was kind of weird, but I kept trying to move this watermelon, and I couldn't. So I guess we'll see what to do there. And then we ran into this. I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna be real, but just kept making my way through the house, and then I found this cosmic brownie, who was pretty upset that I destroyed everything. So I had to be another indentured servant to someone else. Got some more side quests. Went to walk around the freezer. Another bad babysitter. Like, I don't know what is up with people losing babies. And then we found this nurse who needed medicine. And then this, like, I guess pickle. Well, obviously it's a pickle, but I guess it was in jail or something because it was in a jar. And it kept wanting to get out, but I don't know how that pickle's going to get out. And then we ran into this thing again. Found the medicine for the lollipop, so we had to go back for the lollipop. And like, no matter how many times I killed that thing, it just kept respawning. And then I found a band-aid, because the lollipop needed band-aids as well. So, got the bandage, went all the way back, went in the wrong room, and then I finally got another key to keep going further into the house. That dude was very persistent. And then this was just absurd. I figured out I could hit them through the boxes, which was pretty great. And then I moved on, and I got movements, which is good, because that means I can move that watermelon from earlier. And I also got to just avoid that altogether. And it ended up just leading me to another room. But I found the baby for that very bad babysitter. And then found some more dark stuff. But, you know, who took the time to read that? Not me, so I just ripped it up. Had to go all the way back to get the other key. And then I just kept going. Found this draft notice, or not draft notice, this like death notice, so just ripped it up. And we encountered our second boss of the game. I was pretty excited. I won't lie, this dude did piece me up. I don't know what it was. I don't know how, like, from the pig to this, the difficulty got so much harder. But I might have just been slow or something. But, you know, it took me a long time to figure out this guy's moveset, even though it seems pretty simple. It's just two moves. It's spitting out worms and then rolling around. But I guess that was enough to outsmart me. And I genuinely, looking back on this, I don't know what was harder to fight, the worms or the cat. Because that cat just does the same thing, but those worms just follow you everywhere. It was getting out of hand. And I tried using these bombs, but they didn't really work. And it did more damage to me than it. And it just kept shooting out worms over and over. It was upsetting, to say the least. And then I had to get some help, which I was very grateful for. And then I tried doing this bomb, and I died to worms. My first death of the game was to worms, which was pretty sad. But unfortunately, that wasn't the last time, because I died again. To a worm again. And then I blew myself up, and this time I was pretty upset because that was about a win, and then I died to a worm again. And then I blew myself up again. But then I finally did it. After Lord knows how many tries, I finally beat the stupid cat. And in return, I found a lost cat apple. And I got another heart, which just boosted my health even more. It's pretty great. Moved on, and I found the generator, and I found spray paint for a graffiti guy. So I'm gonna be sure to go give that to him. But I started up the generator before I left. And then I made my way back to the Cosmic Brownie. But on my way to do that, I found this macaroni who just kept going on and on about how he's the peak of male physicality, and how he was gonna just kill me and stuff, how he uses guerrilla warfare, and he's a sniper, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I didn't even talk to him. I don't know where this guy came from. And he just wants to kill me. Like, genuinely wants to kill me. Like, he's a macaroni. Like, I don't even know. He goes on about the storm wipes out pathetic things, including my life, and then I'm freaking dead. And, like, you know, the only thing that's freaking dead here is this dude, okay? Because he makes no sense. Like, he genuinely goes on forever about how he's gonna kill me. Like, just shut up. Anyways, I get the one up because I stab him with the solar sword. Finally make it back to the Cosmic Brownie after that stupid macaroni. And then I ended up getting the fork, which is what I came here for, but it took too damn long to get. And I tested it out. What can I say? Snails are just too easy. I then went ahead and brought the fork over to the mayor after I gave the cat to the crazy cat lady. Because, you know, what's a game without a crazy cat lady? And she tried giving me this drawing, but I'm not weird, so I ripped it up right in front of her face. I'm really noticing this trend that this turnip really likes ripping things up right in front of the person's face. Really just puts salt in the wound. I also went ahead and gave the graffiti guy his spray paint after I killed some more snails. Checked in on Blueberry, he's doing pretty good up there. And just more snails died. I don't know what to say. Not sorry, that's for sure. But I gave him the spray paint, it's pretty nice, and in return, I got another heart fruit. That's right, my health is just going through the roof. Nothing's gonna kill me again, right? Anyways, I gave the fork over to Mayor Onion, and he keeps talking about this plan, but I don't know what a fork's gonna do with his fertilizer. Maybe he's gonna start killing stuff, who knows? And then he sends me to go get this goop from the forest, so, you know. I didn't even know I had a mailbox, but when I found the mailbox, I found the valve. I don't know what it does. I don't think I ever used it. But yeah, I got into the Forgotten Forest, met up with Annie again. Yo, what up, Annie? Which I guess is her home, which is a little sad. She lives in the Forgotten Forest. Kind of a odd choice to pick where you live. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I'm not one to judge. And there were more snails, so it was bound to come. And then I found this bunny, and I didn't give it a second chance, and I killed it. And, you know, I don't like snails. I don't think I have to keep explaining myself. And then I felt bad for the previous bunny, and then this bunny attacked me, so I knew that it was hostile. I also found out you cannot swim in green water that has bubbles. I did pick up the phone, although I don't think I ever gave it to her. I got a free phone, you know. Holly, wherever you are, rest in peace. And I killed the rabbit again, because it did so much damage to me for a stupid rabbit. Anyways, found my way into Annie's location, looking around for stuff, and I found this poster, which, you know, at least I'm worth $1 more than I was last time. Clearly I'm on the right track. But, you know, I ripped it up still. There's nothing I can do. At least I'm worth $1 more. Went ahead and spoke to Annie, gave me a key, and sent me on my way. Apparently there's a mural I'm supposed to go looking for, so I went north, and yeah, I'm not sorry. I found these weird portal things, and got to figure that out, and then I killed this rabbit. This turnip's really like a cold-blooded killer. It's kind of insane how much killing it does. I was gonna spare this rabbit, but it just kept getting in the way of my stuff. Like, I'm just trying to get to the next area, and this rabbit's just harassing me, you know? Like, it destroyed my bomb, so I didn't let that slide, and I killed it. Yeah, in cold blood again. And it kept doing a lot of damage. Like, this was the lowest health I think I've gotten in the wild, but, you know, at least I ripped its heart out. And I went ahead and continued using these portals for bombs. And I got into the next area. And then I beat the shit out of this deer's ass. Like, I don't know what he thought he was doing. Or she, no hate, but absolutely squared up and lost. And it ran off. I couldn't even finish the job. So, you know, had to just keep moving on. And I did find a mural, which is pretty nice. Have to bring that back to Annie. And I guess the god they have is mushroom giants. But I had to go take a key and go find a turnip patch, which is pretty nice because I'm a turnip myself, so you know it shouldn't be that hard to find another turnip. Made my way down south. And I know you guys see that snail over there and how I'm not killing it, but don't worry, I get around to it, okay? No snail lives. Like this one. Yeah. They all suffer the same fate, because out of any insect they could have been, or animal, or what's a slug supposed to be? I don't know. I don't want to know either. But all I know is snails are disgusting. It took me a little bit to figure out what to do here, but you know, you're looking at like one of the smartest people out there, you know, so I figured it out fairly fast. And as a way to prove my smartness, I bombed a rabbit, as you see here. I actually sent another one just to seal the deal. And as you can see from the heart left on the ground, I bombed that John. Anyways, I do see the turnip, and as I make my way over there, it's pretty sad because it doesn't have a face, and it's not moving. It's kind of dead, which is kind of odd because in a world full of, you know, vegetables that are alive, why is this one dead? It was pretty sad. And then the deer wanted to square up again, and I beat its ass again. Like, I don't know who this deer thinks he is. I don't know how he got bigger too. Like, it went to the gym or something, but that did not stop me from beating its ass again. Homie squared up twice and lost twice. He's 0-2 right now. Ridiculous. ridiculous. But I did find this potted petal portal thingamabob, which, you know, it's going to come in handy for future puzzles. And I tested it out because I didn't really know how to do it. But I made my way back to Annie. And this is where I finally got to use the petal powder blah blah blah. And, you know, everything just suffers the same fate. The moment a living thing that's a hostile in, like, this turnip's eyes, it just dies. But yeah, couldn't even tell you why. Like this worm, dead. This snail, dead. Well, snail I know why. I hate snails. But, you know, not much you can do. Made it back to Annie, and she was pretty sad. She didn't understand why the turnip was dead. And then I got my last key for this mission, and I went west. Got to use my petal portal thingamabob. I'm never gonna get the name of that correct, but you know. Made my way and I found acorns, which looked like they definitely had better days. And they were just having identity crises. You know, it happens to the best of us. Saw that vomit trail, but I wanted to ignore it. Turns out it just led to another acorn. And it seems like they all recently fell from a tree. So, you know. Another nuclear thing. And then I found that bitch-ass deer again. And, you know, it was a good fight. You know, put up a good fight. Got some armor this time. What I really could not get, though, was these bombs. Like, just the way that these portals and bombs were set up, I could not figure it out. And just like the cat, I don't know what was more difficult, the bomb or the bombs, like, spawning. Because this rabbit was just piecing me up. Like, not even a deer was. But, you know, kept moving on. Not much I could do. I was hoping the bombs had higher radius in here because I don't know how they wanted me to use these bombs. Like, that was a good hit, but I wish it did more damage, or at least other bombs would have done damage too. And yeah, these rabbits, man, they just kept killing me. Nothing I could do. And like that bomb right there, that should have hit. It like went through its head, but you know, just hitbox perspective, whatever. But still. And these damn rabbits just kept hitting me. I was getting annoyed. I ended up just trying to use my sword at times, I'm not gonna lie. Because it just seemed more beneficial. Like that bomb, insane how it didn't do anything. The sword was doing so much more damage than those bombs because I could actually hit the dude with my sword. And you know, I do find it kind of crazy that this deer just kept fighting me and kept losing, and thought it was a good idea to try and piece me up a third time. He's going 0 for 2, and you know, the way it's looking, he ain't gonna make it more. And I really wanted to finish him off with my sword, you know, just to really prove to him. And just like that, I beat its ass a third time. 0 for 3. He went 0 for 3 when it came to fighting me. Like, ridiculous. But I got my other heart. My health is just going through the roof. I know it got close there at times, I won't lie. Health dipped a little bit, but you know, not much I can do. You know, those rabbits were just doing more damage than the deer itself. But anyway, I found the green goop that the mayor was after. after. And I brought it back to Annie, and she, like, insulted me because I was glowing because of the goop. And she said, it's not in a good way. Like, when I'm glowing, it's okay to say I'm glowing, alright? And then she told me I needed to go give it, and obviously, but I found another hat. I'm just racking up these hats. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my least favorite hat. And then I found this acorn who just wanted real estate. Not even like food or water or a home. Well, technically a home. But then I got a leaf, which is supposed to pay for real estate. Don't know how much that's gonna get. But, you know, I wish him luck. Brought it to the mayor, and he was also upset I was glowing, but he wanted it. And then he said I was dumb by calling me like someone with a pea-sized brain. Like, that is ridiculous. And then I needed to go get a laser pointer. Like, I don't know what this dude's doing. I don't know how a laser pointer or like green goop's gonna help him with farming, because that's apparently everyone cares about. And then, like, these stupid beats wouldn't let me through because, oh, I'm so strong, blah 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 blah. So I had to go find a shovel. But I didn't know where the shovel was. I went out and checked out the graffiti guy's art, and look at that. That is a piece of art. That took time, and that is skill. That is a good graffiti. Anyways, I went on my hunt for the shovel. Genuinely had no clue. I know those guys back there probably sad, but spoke to this guy, and look at that. He has a shovel, but I need to help him first. And we're gonna go digging in graves. Just the moral compass of this game, it's just not there. And this took me a very long time. I cannot lie. Just everything was just a puzzle. Turns out there was ghosts, and they were piecing me up, not gonna lie. And turns out if you make a wrong exit, you get kicked out of the graveyard entirely. But I found another hat. This one was probably one of my favorite hats I got all game. And yeah, no. As you can see, it was rough. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. Found another letter from humans and ripped it up. Yeah. Kind of messed up because it was at someone's grave, but you know, if everyone's dead, no one's there to read it, I guess. Yeah. And these stupid riddles, I don't understand. I'm no good with riddles. Or like puzzles, really. Those bomb puzzles were the best. And I stood there thinking about that riddle, and it wasn't really working. And then, like, even more stuff about the humans. So I might honestly make a video about what happened to the humans in this game. But right now, we're talking about how I committed tax evasion as a turnip. Alright? And made another wrong turn. And I'm actually amazed I remembered the path so well. Because, like, I got to where I needed pretty well. And I knew the moment I saw that hole that was the right way, but I had to test it, and this is when I was getting annoyed, because I just stood there and I was just appalled. Jaw dropped. And then I was struggling to figure out where the stupid pumpkin was, or watermelon. I thought it was down there, but it wasn't, and it was really sad. And it was just the pumpkin telling me where to go, even though I already knew where to go. So I thought there was going to be a hint somewhere in here, but turns out it was just an ass ton of ghosts. And then turns out the pumpkin was just there, or the watermelon was there the whole time. And when I got there, there was this ginormous riddle, and I gave up. I'll save you the trouble, I gave up. I sat there for 30 minutes trying to figure it out. I just started going in all directions, which I probably should have done it from the start. But no, what can you do? Everything is learning experience. But yeah, just kept going in random directions. Flawlessly remembered the route, by the way. This is insane. And then we finally got to the grave, and I got a new weapon. I got my shovel. Pretty great. Now I can dig graves much more efficiently. Kind of not cool that he got the golden shovel and I got the basic one, but beggars can't be choosers. And then apparently I saw this dude's dad, but I don't remember that. And, well, I tested out the shovel, because I have to. And just killed a lot of snails. And we found this bomb bunker, and it was pretty interesting, because it goes a little to show of what happened to the humans, but the more I see, there's a human right there, and that kind of freaked me out, because I thought it was just like a shadow, but it's clearly a person. But I definitely want to make a video on that, and they weren't lying when that green goop said it created life around me, because I made beams come to life. Like, Taco Bell would fear me if I was in a Taco Bell right now. But anyways, I kept chasing it, and there was two, which was new, because I only saw one of them. But I didn't know how to get to them, which turns out was just that little thing in the middle, but I guess I'll come to figure that out a little later. And found another diary entry, and I found the stupid hair dye for Edgar, but I'm not giving it to Edgar, because Edgar is a jerk. Here's when I finally figured it out, that it was fire, and I took damage from the fire, but it's okay. Went to go follow them, and they locked the door behind them. Kind of crazy, but, you know, it's okay. I'm gonna get to them one way or another. Found the key, but then I found that the bombs dropped, which, there it is, that's what happened to the humans. But I'm definitely going to make a video about in-depth what happened, because there's lore drops everywhere. Like, this small game has a lot of lore, surprisingly, and then I really struggled on how to make this fire work. Like I said, I'm not the greatest at puzzles, but, you know, I have my moments. And then I finally figured it out, and I got the key. And then I just kept following. And there were the two people. And this ham, I hate fighting this ham, okay? Like, it makes you move in the opposite direction. You try going up, you go down. You try hitting left, you hit right. It's very weird. But ultimately, found my way around, I guess. I don't even know. I really didn't want to activate those beams, but I did. This is when I finally started getting the use, like the hang of the fire and stuff. Took me a second to figure out what was going on. I found another diary thing and I ripped it up. Like, too many people writing in their diaries these days, alright? But there was nothing to, like, put the fire to, so I just used myself. And it worked. And I found a hazmat suit, which is pretty great, because now fire doesn't hurt me. So now I can light myself on fire all I want. Aiming clutch, can't lie. I could have gone through the door, but I don't think I realized that, so I decided to fight the ham again. But I mastered the upside down controls and another diary entry. So I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of lore, and I gotta make a video about it, because I don't have the time in this one. Even though this one's a long video, I don't have the time to cover the lore. And I thought the barn was a maze, but this one was a little bit more of a maze. And then I pieced up the ham again. Took a little bit of damage, but, you know, had to show the ham who was boss. And the beans. Finally figured out that was the key to the door. And there was more stupid stuff, and I died to the ham. It was a very bad moment on my end. Can't believe I died. But when I came back, I made sure to show them who's boss. Did I take a lot of damage? Yes. But I gained it back. And then the stupid ham didn't even give it a second to breathe. Now this was one of the more struggling puzzles for me because I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew there was a watermelon, I knew there was fire, that was about it. I saw the bomb and I really wanted to bomb the beam. So I was doing my best to trigger them. Once I finally did, I blew them up. And then I sent another bomb to wipe up the rest of them. And it was pretty nice. And this is where the hazmat suit came in handy because I got to light myself on fire. I didn't really realize I had the hazmat suit because I kept trying to put the fire out on myself. But we got there in the long run. And then just continued chasing the people. And there's another diary. This one was a little bit more sad, but you know. And then I thought we're finally going to confront the humans. But turns out it was just another boss fight. And this one was by far the hardest boss in the whole game. Because, one, I don't even know, like, it took me so long to learn the moveset this boss had. And, like, it was a good moveset. It was a good boss fight. I'm not gonna lie, one of the best boss fights I've had. But it absolutely tore me apart. There's nothing I could have done. And yeah, I died. Like, I think you get the general gist. But then I finally learned the moveset. And I learned that the fire was the key. Obviously, because in all the boss fights there's something there to help you fight, not just your sword. But I didn't know how to use the fire, but the fire came in clutch. I can't even lie. It prevented it from the vines touching the creepy slime hand, and you were able to light her on fire. It was great. Not gonna lie, my heart was kind of racing because I really wanted to beat this, because this was like my 5th or 6th try. But I finally got it, and I was so happy because it was by fire too. It was great. It was a good boss fight. I wish there was maybe there was more stages to it, then it would have been a little bit more fun. But that was still a great thing. And I got another heart, which is great. My health was just keep going up, 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 up. And I got the laser pointer that the mayor wanted, so I got to bring that back to him. And he was talking about how his master plan was complete. And, well, turns out he wasn't trying to garden. And my father was killed by him, and there's a whole lot of lore. The Turnip legacy was left to me, apparently. And I didn't know what to do, but he mentioned the Old Man Lemon. So I went over to Old Man Lemon, and apparently my dad was in like a mob, and he was the boss of the mob, and these Mayor Onion and Old Man Lemon, they were like his goons, I guess. I don't even know. But all I know is I had to get revenge for my dad, because clearly Mayor Onion killed him. And I made my way into it, and I gotta say, like, this is actual music from the game playing right here. Like the music that was put into this game was amazing. This was probably my favorite piece of music from this game. Like, the sound design, amazing. Everything about this game was amazing. And I also found this basic English for big dum-dums, and I ripped it. So now no one can learn how to read or write. Pretty great. But as I was saying, music design and sound design in this game, great. And just game design in general. Like, this is a pretty fast-paced game, but you're able to take your time with it. You're able to go explore. Even after you finish the game, there's more to do. It's pretty great. And right here is when I started struggling, because I forgot I had the portal pedal thingy, so I kept trying to figure out how to get the fire to the door, because I don't have like an axe or something. And I kept struggling. I couldn't figure it out to save me at all. And then it finally clicked that I could have used the pedal thing. So instead of putting it at the door, which I should have done, I put it halfway through. And it didn't work because I just kept going back and forth. And I accidentally just kicked myself out the room. This is when I learned that I should put it by the door. I used the water to make sure the portal stayed alive, and then I finally got through the door. And there were a lot more puzzles like this to go through, but they were pretty fun. I wish there was a little bit more variety when I came to the puzzles, because this bomb watermelon thing and the fire, that's all it has, which it's great. It's great for this small game, but if the creator really wanted to make something more of this, they definitely could. Like, there's so much potential here. But finally got through the door, and then it was time to go fight the boss. I fought Mayor Onion, and he had the IRS there, because I guess the IRS is just, like, everything's corrupt. And I killed the IRS very fast. And now it was time to fight the final boss, Mayor Onion. And he used everything I gave him to transform into a corrupt politician, which I guess he already was. But, you know, it's government as a whole. It's just all, like, it's always gonna go corrupt. I was very quick to learn this guy's moveset, because it was just essentially all of the other bosses combined, which is great for a final boss design. I love it when video games make the final boss just a combination of everything. Like that green goop, that was from the human boss. Laser, that one's new. But the stabbing one, that's more like Stag the deer when he goes to hit you. It was pretty great. And it has the running like the cat does. Or the pig, I should say. More like the pig. And what I'm very grateful for is that this dude doesn't spawn a bunch of random stuff. This would have definitely taken me more times if it kept spawning things. But yeah, this was a great boss fight. I ended up beating him first try. It was pretty great. And that goes the same for this whole game. This was an amazing game. And just like that, I finally beat him, and I got revenge for my dad. It's pretty great. And I gotta say, if you did make it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment what else we should do here on this channel, because there's more I can do in this game. You just guys gotta let me know if you want me to do it. And just as my final act in this game, I ripped up the deed to my own greenhouse. And just to go for music design, I'm going to leave you off with this great song.
Boy, done well. But us, we've gathered here to say farewell until next time. So, you can sing along, or don't. Do you? We won't pay our taxes, we've got rent and we've got bills. There's layers to the onion and his bureaucratic thrills. All you flora, all you fauna, let us venture through the land. Take down Mayor Onion and all his thieving plans. We won't pay our taxes, we've got rent and we've got bills. There's layers to the onion and his bureaucratic thrills. All you flora, all you fauna, let us venture through the land. Take down Mayor Onion and all his thieving plans. Spend some time peeling back those skins and you'll find out soon there are seeds within. We'll sing our hearts out loud, world spinning, cause the worst parts past, we're breathing still, so we fight through the woods. There's violence in history, we're speaking in ellipses. Secret is to try doing good, leave those snails alone, they got problems of their own. Make your mark, cause it's time always moves. Don't waste it for a pay stub. Friends and family make up fertile wood at heart. 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 We won't pay our taxes, we got rent, we got layers to the onion and his bureaucratic thrills. All you flora, all you fauna, let us venture through the land to take down Mayor Onion